Alright guys, you're listening to Geek Cred. This is a show about gaming, working, nerding, etc. This week we're talking about productivity.
So guys, is there any environment that inspires you to work harder and work faster?
There's no environment that inspires me, but I strive to make my environment inspiring by firstly, turning off all the lights and leaving only my desk lamp on. Secondly, I need to work in a very quiet environment, and I could only tolerate background sound.
I think I'm almost exactly the opposite of you. I need lots of light, lots of external stimulation. Basically, if I was in my room, then I would rather be doing, anything else. But I find that especially when I'm in my own room, I find it a very isolating experience. And so I'll actually go so far as to get a second screen somewhere near my computer, and I'll put on a movie and I'll mute it so that I can avoid that sense of isolation. And it can be a bit distracting at first, but then you get used to it, and it's just a way of mixing up your surroundings a little bit.
I actually used to watch movies as well when I studied, but I would normally watch something that I've watched a billion times, like Lord of the Rings. And because I know like every detail that's going to happen in the movie, I'm not distracted, but at the same time, I like the fact that it's there, so it keeps me awake.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've got a time one as well, and it's called the Pomodoro method. And so the way that the Pomodoro method works is you set a timer and you work for 25 minutes. And once the timer goes off, you can take a break for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or however long. And so then you can say, okay, I'll go use Facebook, or I'll stand up and walk around for a minute, or I'll get a refill on my coffee. But the reason why this is so important is because it's a lot easier to work for 25 minutes and not use Facebook for 25 minutes than it is to say, I have to write this paper, I can't use Facebook until I'm done, because it's just not realistic. Or like any sort of distraction. It's just not realistic to say, I'm not going to do this at all until this hypothetical unforeseen time. And so just to give yourself little chunks and to be able to reward yourself after little increments of time is very, very handy.
I actually do kind of the same thing, except it's more of 10 minutes things, but no.
10, 3, 1.
It's not the same. What I do is that when I write essays, usually it's very difficult to begin because you're always conscious about every word and the structure of it. So what I do is, at first I'll make mind map of everything that I can think of regarding the essay, and then I'll time myself for 10 minutes, in which basically I speed type. Like I can't stop, I'm not allowed to stop. Elaborations on the things that I came up with. So I kind of end up with a framework of what I'm going to do after 10 minutes. And that helps me get over the inertia of writing an essay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually something that I've heard of before, and people combine that with the Pomodoro method, and they'll say, you have 25 minutes to write, you're not allowed to stop. And so theoretically, I think that someone calculated that the average person can do 750 words typing that way in 25 minutes. And so if you can do that to start an essay, or if you can promise yourself to do that once a day, then you'll have a novel in 2 months.
I actually tried that once, but I found that it doesn't work for me because to write an essay outline, I need perhaps 45 minutes. And to say that stop at 25 minutes and then take a break, and then during the break, I sort of forget what I wanted to write. And it detracts me from the entire essay making process. So I don't do it in small chunks, but rather huge chunks, like 1 or 2 hours.
See, there are two things that I would say to that. One is that if it's taking you 45 minutes to write an outline, it's not that you're just writing, it's that you're writing and editing at the same time. And it's very important to separate the two things, because it makes it radically inefficient for you to do both at the same time. And the second is, if you find you want to keep working after 25 minutes, fantastic. That's all bonus time. There aren't enough words in an outline for it to take 45 minutes to write.
Yeah.
And so the writing and editing thing is the big difference. It's concentration with diminishing returns, because if you're doing something and then thinking about it as you're trying to think about other things, it's just radically inefficient, right? So other tools?
I've actually got this because at home, my wardrobe stretches floor to ceiling, and the door is made of glass, so I use it as a whiteboard. And I think that really helps me see everything and not get distracted, because if you're essentially making a mind map on a piece of paper, it's very small, and you have to look for the details, whereas if you write it on something big, it's easier to construct your thoughts. And every time I run out of ideas, I start drawing on it, which I think a lot of people would say is distracting and it's a waste of time, but I actually think that it helps me think. I read somewhere that drawing, because it's a right brain function, it kind of helps you come up with more creative ideas just in general.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people get confused when they do mind mapping, and instead of doing what an actual mind map is meant to be, they just do hierarchy outlines that aren't top to bottom. They just draw circles and then they draw other circles and do things like that. Mind mapping isn't meant to do that. In its initial and most effective form, I think most people would argue that it's about drawing things and expressing whatever idea you have in as little ink as possible. And so drawing fits right into that criteria. It's perfect.
For me, I'm not a mind map person. I would prefer to do a list. So I use the whiteboard tool as well, but it's an actual whiteboard, very huge, in my study room. When I was studying for history and literature, a few of us would like write down quotes and write down concepts in lists, and it would just fill up the entire whiteboard, and everybody comes and can just stare at it and study. And I think that one is efficient. Number two, it's collaborative, so everybody comes and adds something.
Sure, it adds that community aspect, which is more fun, and yeah definitely. Okay. Another one that I do is there's actually an entire bulk of literature on this, which I don't want to get into because it's just about a simple idea, but it's called Getting Things Done, or GTD for short. And the most important idea with this is that you need to just get everything out of your head that you need to do, because our brains aren't really meant to think about what they need to do and then do things. They need to focus on one thing or the other thing, and if you're trying to hold things in short-term or long-term memory, that's using up brain capacity. And so make lists, and then keep track of what you've done and what you haven't done and what you need to do. And so I have 4 lists. One is things that I have to do, one is things that I should do, one is things that I want to do, and the last one is shopping. And so if I need milk or socks or whatever, then I know to do that. Have all of those lists so you don't have to think about it, and then you can just go and glance back and you know exactly what you need to do. And the other important thing about this is don't put deadlines in there, put deadlines on a calendar, because that's what calendars are for. And so you've got your lists, you've got a calendar for things that have specific deadlines, go out there and change the world.
One of my teachers taught me that to use 4 lists as well. Very important and urgent. Not important and urgent. Important and not urgent. And not important and not urgent. So
Right.
just classify things into this 4 and do the important and urgent thing first.
Right.
Yeah.
And try and get rid of the not important and not
Yeah.
urgent. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can delegate the... so there are 4 quadrants there. There's the important and urgent on the top.
Yes,
and then there's the one or the other, and you can delegate those.
Yeah.
And then there's the bottom one that you
It's
should be
really
doing.
fun actually, but sometimes I spend time thinking, oh, is this important or is this urgent? So I I got rid of the method entirely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can be handy to think about every once in a while, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
What else?
I used to reward myself with drama series. 1 episode, and then it continued on. So I stopped rewarding myself with drama episode and I just go with the flow. It's not a reward kind of thing because it makes me feel that I'm forced to do my work so that I can get this reward.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I actually watched this TED Talk about motivation. And in the talk, they said that when you're given rewards, you do simple work faster. But when it comes to more complex things, people who have incentives actually work slower. So essentially, if like you're doing your readings and you have an incentive to do it, you will do it faster. Whereas if you're writing an essay and you have to think of the points, you actually do it slower when there's an incentive for you to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually there's a lot of stuff that shows that incentivization is not just going to make you work slower, but it's going to make you less effective in doing whatever you're doing. And so think about people that, if they love to write, and then they manage to find a job that lets them write for a living, quite often they will grow to hate writing because they can't treat it as their passion anymore. Some people can, of course, but a lot of people will sort of fall out of love with this thing that they thought was wonderful because they have to do it all the time to get their incentive. And so, yeah, incentives can be kind of scary if you abuse them.
Well, I thought of one incentive for myself is that it's not something tangible. It's just the joy that I get to finish my work by 12. And that in itself is an incentive for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yes, that's very nice.
How often does that actually happen?
Twice a month, or?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. The one that I have, it's not so much an incentive for a specific task being completed, but it's more of a, so long as I'm productive enough, I'll allow myself to X. And it's, I have a fairly restrictive diet, just because that's the way that I like to eat. But I'll sort of treat myself to junk food every once in a while if I feel like I've had a productive day. Or if I've had a really crappy day, then I'll do the same thing. And so, like, I'll be like, okay, you've earned a bottle of soda this week. You can go get one. Something like that.
A bottle of soda.
Yeah, or like a bag of chips or pizza or something, yeah.
For me, another thing I actually do is that when I'm doing readings, you know those small post-its that they have?
Uh-huh.
I write stuff on them like, you have 5 YouTube minutes, and then paste them on random points in the reading. So I don't know where they are. So like I'll just keep reading to find them. So this kind of exciting thing that's happening when I'm doing my readings.
That's really cool. I feel like you should do those. You should get a group together and you should write a bunch and then put them in each other's books. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, except if you write shit for them.
Yeah,
You get to go to the toilet.
You can itch your feet for a little while. Ugh. Ugh. I don't even want to read that paragraph now.
You get to stare at me.
That'd be a good one though, because you could get a laugh out of it and then go do whatever for a little while.
Oh god.
Nice.
How about things that improve your mental capacity? I mean, like chicken essence.
No.
You don't eat chicken
No, I
essence?
don't.
I thought everyone drank chicken essence when they were younger.
The last time I drank was the day before O levels.
Do you like it?
No.
Do you know that chicken essence is from UK?
What?
It is. It is. It's amazing, right? Like everyone thinks it's local because you always have the pictures of kids who do well for the PSLE and O level and A levels in the bus stops holding up bottles of chicken essence and saying, "Hey, you know, I use chicken essence."
I thought it's a Chinese traditional
Yeah,
thingy.
that's right.
Yeah.
Since it tastes horrible, I just naturally assumed it was Chinese medicine. But no, it's from UK. Yeah,
Oh.
and going back to the whole poster thing, you know, when I was a kid, my friends used to point to those bus stop posters and say, you know, we have to do well for our PSLE so that we'll get into that poster. And I thought it was funny at that time, right? And then when I went to secondary school, my friends just kind of repeated the same thing. And when I went to JC, it's the same thing as well. So I was thinking, like, is this like a local thing? Is it like a collective dream of Singaporean youth to be in that
Bro,
poster?
bus stop posters.
No, it's kind of, I mean, how effective is that in terms of marketing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They kind of like penetrated the dreams of youth. It's really cool. I mean, if I ask myself, I kind of want to be in that poster as well.
Are you too old now?
Sorry?
Are you too old now?
Yeah. It's only for like PSLE to A levels.
Oh,
We're
you've
not
been
allowed
robbed
to.
of that dream then.
Yeah, it's just,
That's bad marketing.
it's you know, it's one of those dreams that you gotta forget because
Yeah, I
you're
can't be an
older.
astronaut anymore. You can't be in the chicken
Yeah.
essence thing. Yeah. Fair
Chicken
enough.
essence.
Transfer that to your children.
But I don't think it's going back to the UK thing. They might have originated there, but I'm saying that I think that there's a different use because chicken essence, it's in the cooking section in the UK. And so when I saw it in the pharmacy section here, I was very confused, and I read it for a little while, and then I talked to a couple of my students about it, and yeah, that's not a thing. Yeah, we don't like get ready for our finals in Edinburgh and say, all right, guys, let's go and do shots of chicken essence now. Although I'm going to try and bring that back and see what they say, but
I've got this other thing. Because, you know, sometimes when you have a lot of work and you feel really down, do you have any, like, say, things that you do to inspire you? Like, for me, there's this sound clip that someone made on Tumblr, and it's called Tad Inspirational. It's basically clips put together of the doctor saying nice things so that it sounds like he's talking to you. And it's going like, you are amazing.
just to clarify, the doctor as in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you listen to it again and again, it actually makes you feel just a bit better about yourself, especially if you're a Doctor Who fan.
Sure.
No, your face is judging me. No, Pat, okay, to any Whovians out there, if you want to check it out, it's Tad Inspirational. It's actually the first thing that comes up when you Google it, so. Hey, it's really good.
So it repeats itself.
It
You're
goes
a
like-
genius. You're
no,
a
no,
genius.
no, that's creepy. There's different things.
God.
No.
It's
amazing.
I don't know how I
It's
feel
like-
about this.
You've never tried it before, but when you try it, you'll be like, whoa, I never knew life could be like this.
Yeah, I'll be like, whoa, it's creepy.
Never watching that show. Okay. Well, my inspiration method isn't listening to anything or watching anything. It's more of an actual thing that I just do, and it's that I track when I do something in a day. And so, as an example, if I were to write for 5 days in a row, I'll put X's on a calendar, and so then I've got a series of 5 days that I've done writing for already. And so it's this idea that if you show up every day, you sort of build up momentum, and then you'll just keep doing things. And so then even if you have a crappy day, you'll feel kind of guilty about breaking the chain, and so you just keep going on. And it's just, once you get over that initial hurdle of starting and you sort of distract yourself away from whatever it is that's keeping you down, then you get on with it. Although, maybe I'll go and listen to this inspirational Doctor Who business and
Maybe
change my life.
You could like end your day with it, like every day.
You're gonna be awesome.
See, it's like that, except it's sexier.
I thought of mine. I get inspiration by eating
But don't you get sleepy when you eat?
after I eat. So I
Yeah.
eat very, very slowly, and while
Oh.
typing, I eat. Yeah.
Yeah, that tiredness is that there's blood flowing to your stomach to aid in the digestion process, and so long as you don't force a lot of blood to go down there, then it should be all good. All right, guys, that wraps up another week of Geek Cred. So this is Zack saying goodbye.
Carmina?
And Qiu Li saying goodbye.
One more thing. Just remember, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be more than great. You're gonna be amazing. Isn't that right, friend?
Bye.